By the end of this video, I want you guys to answer this one question. Is VladTV a culture vulture, or is it that he's just delusional?
TV is getting more backlash than usual after making certain comments during his interview with DJ Akademiks. One of the initial comments made during his interview that people weren't too receptive towards was when VladTV revealed a conversation he had with Rich Homie Quan. Now, Vlad qualified the comment before saying it. He said that he was going to take this conversation to his grave, but now that Rich Homie Quan passed away, he feels like he could share it.
Conversation with Rich Homie Quan before he died. I was going to take this one to the grave, but he died.
Yeah.
So I'm able to talk about it. But like with Quan, George Cheedy had brought up in our last interview that this whole thing was about Quan not wanting to sign
to Burbank,
to Young Thug or whatever else.
Rich Gang.
Yeah. And they started to pressure him, and Nut got in the middle of it, and this whole situation was over that. And there's paperwork that was going to be brought up in court specifically over that, and George Cheedy sent me the paperwork. And I said, I'm not going to put this out because me and Quan are cool. I did his first interview, so let me just talk to him about it. So I called him up. I'm like, yo, I got something important to talk to you about. He's like, all right, let's FaceTime. I'm like, cool, let's do that. And I'm like, listen, like, this is what I found out. This is what was mentioned in the interview. I'm cutting this part out. But they're saying that this whole thing was about you not wanting to sign, you know, to Young Thug or Rich Gang or whatever. And then this is ultimately what led to, you know, Nut getting killed. And he said, yeah, that's true.
If you just scroll through the comments, people had an issue with this because they felt like if you weren't going to talk about it when he was alive, then you shouldn't have talked about it when he passed away. Somebody says, so when someone died, the same morals and principles don't apply. If you said you was finna take it to the grave, why the heck you doing speaking on it super lame?
First of all, friend is a very deep word, you know what I mean? And y'all expecting loyalty from somebody that may not even know what real friends are. He may not really got no friends in his real life that are real friends. I know in this community, in this culture, there's a lot of real friends and real loyalty. So the things that he say kind of go but so far, and I think he should just kind of refer to people as associates.
This man, police, yeah, like the regular allegations. Now, I disagree in terms of people thinking that VladTV shouldn't have spoken on this. Listen, bro, Rich Homie Quan had passed away.
I agree.
Now, if this was a conversation that would have made Rich Homie Quan look bad, if this was a conversation that would have disparaged him in any way, then maybe I can understand making an argument for why this shouldn't come out. But if VladTV wasn't going to share it because Rich Homie Quan was still alive and he was still trying to work his way through the music industry and he didn't really want to pour the gas on Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug beef, then that's understandable.
No,
but once
sense.
the man passed away, I mean, there's no way Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug can beef, bro. Like, one is dead and one is still alive. So him sharing it doesn't really disparage or affect Rich Homie Quan in any way. So that's why I'm not against VladTV sharing this.
I agree.
Now, the other parts of this interview that people had a lot of issue with stems from VladTV's identity. Now, VladTV is an openly and proud Jewish man. And being open and proud, you're going to speak up for your people and you're going to defend your people.
Yeah.
So VladTV attempted to broach the subject of Kanye West. Kanye West was recently banned on Twitter for going on a manic Twitter rant where he would say comments that people can perceive as anti-Semitic. Apparently, the Twitter banging was not enough. Bro decided he was going to drop a merch that sport a symbol that's very controversial in relation to Jewish people. They responded back with merch of their own targeted at going at Kanye West.
I have not seen not one Jewish person walk down the block with any of this merch. I didn't even know they had it out. But I have, and I haven't even seen nobody walk down the block with Kanye's merch, but it did sell out, guys.
And got a F Kanye mug. So these folks is really going to war, bruh. This Kanye West situation is really polarizing, especially among the inner cities and urban communities. On one hand, people think Kanye West has lost his mind. They think he's bipolar. They think he's manic. They think his comments were hateful. While on the other hand, there are people who believe that Kanye West has a larger message that's being ignored, and they're telling him to cook. Kanye will say something really insane and go on a manic rant, and then he will circle back and say something so profound that leaves people divided on the issue. Like, for example, after his Twitter rant going off, he circled back and he stated, I'm going to normalize talking about the failed art student the way talking about killing black folks has been normalized. What Kanye West said here is something you really have to think about.
That's deep.
It's something you really have to look into.
It is.
Because if you look at the harsh reality, you will see,
I feel like he's 100% right. It is normal for people to sit around and talk about the bottom end of black culture and black media, right? Every day. But then when, like, it's reversed, when you talk about the lowest part of other cultures, it doesn't spread as much. And that's where me and Flakko can agree on that point.
Maybe got a point here. People sit at the top of the food chain in the music industry. And the people who sit at the top of the food chain, they taste make. They curate the culture. They curate what's hot. And for some reason, for whatever agenda it is, they've made gangsta music hot, right? They've made degeneracy in black music hot.
Exactly.
So when we look at the current state of hip hop, there are people profiting off of rapping about and glorifying black genocide.
A lot of money.
Yeah. And Kanye West is asking the question of, how come rapping, talking, glorifying, gloating about black genocide in your music and making a mockery out of the black traumas and the pains that come from those environments, how come that's allowed on social media? And how come certain people are allowed to profit off of it to no end? Well, when we talk about their pain, or when we talk about certain people's pain, they're banned and ostracized and blackballed from everything. That's the question he's asking. Now, whether or not you agree, you have to admit, you have to at least think about it. So VladTV went on DJ Akademiks, and VladTV responded back to this, and Akademiks actually confronted Vlad about this particular talking point. And it's Vlad's reaction to Akademiks confronting him about this talking point that got a lot of people upset.
Told me he did, I wouldn't be surprised. That outfit, I would sit there with it, and I would start to push back. You're wearing the swastika chain. I lost about 9 family members by that group.
Come on, Vlad.
Like, my grandfather's, all his 9 siblings were killed by Nazis.
Aww.
I have a smaller family right now because of what you're representing.
Aww,
you know? You think those people like black people? When you see a Nazi out, a dude with a Nazi tattoo, you think he loves black people?
Because I'm a cook.
He only hates Jews and loves black people? Like, you know what Hitler did? He sterilized every mixed person in Germany, was sterilized so they don't reproduce, because they're not trying to taint the superior race that Hitler was trying to create. They weren't necessarily always killing black people, but if you were German and black, you wouldn't be allowed to have babies.
Yeah.
Flakko, I'm gonna let you cook. I just want to talk about this real quick. The fact that he's so disconnected, it shows right there. To talk about 9 family members, like, it's bad if somebody loses somebody. It's bad if somebody, holds back a race or oppression or anything along them lines. But to talk about 9 people in comparison to a whole race who's still going through it, because going through it before and going through it now is 2 different things. Now, if y'all want me to work on part 2, we could work on part 2, but I'm going to need to see the words part 2 in the comments. I don't see part 2. We leave it here. Make sure you subscribe, hit the top bell. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out of here.